Joseph sold into slavery from Genesis chapter 37. Jacob was blessed. He was given by God a huge family. He didn't build that family correctly. He had 2 wives, and then he also had children by their servants. But God still chose to bless him, and he gave him 11 children, 11 sons, and finally 12 sons, along with other daughters. He also blessed him with a whole bunch of flocks and herds and many physical blessings. God was just beyond generous to Jacob. He had these 12 children, these 12 sons that became the heads of tribes, and we hear about them later in the Bible, and we hear at the beginning how these brothers didn't always love each other. We focus on Joseph. He was the firstborn of Jacob's favorite wife, Rachel. As such, he was kind of treated a little bit more differently. When he reached 17 years old, he still was tattling on his brothers. He said, "Father, I was tending the flocks with the sons of Zilpah and Bilhah, and those boys are up to no good." He tattled on them. And the father, Jacob, he loved Joseph the most and would punish those other guys because his favorite was the son of his favorite wife. You see, the wrong way he built his family just set that sort of stuff up. Then Joseph was given a special robe. Sometimes it's called multicolored. It was a fancy robe. It had long sleeves. What we know for sure is this robe was not built for working. This robe was built for someone to rest and relax. And Joseph's brothers, they had to go work in the field, but Joseph was 17 and he didn't do that. He was kind of set up as a supervisor, kind of got the lazy life. That made for tough things. Joseph's brothers, they knew it. They said, "Dad loves Joseph the most," and because of that, they said, we hate him. They got to fights. And one time he said, "Listen to this dream I had." God had given him a dream, but Joseph, it seems, kind of told this dream arrogantly. He said there were sheaves, 11 sheaves, just like you guys, and one of those sheaves was me, and all those sheaves bowed down to me, and I was exalted above them. Man, oh man. And the brothers said, "Do you actually intend to rule over us?" I mean, it was bad that he said this, but it was even the way he said it, kind of being arrogant. And then Joseph told him another dream that he had about how there was the sun, moon, and there were 11 stars. And those 11 stars and the sun and the moon all bowed down to him. Everybody knew what that meant. Even Jacob the father said, "What is this dream? Will your mother and I and your brothers bow down to the ground for you?" Joseph was making it tough as he was kind of sharing his arrogance. But of course the father kept this in mind because he wondered if this was a vision God had given him. Would this be fulfilled? Then one day Jacob told Joseph, go to Shechem. Your brothers have gone there. Go check on them." And so he went to do that. Well, as the brothers saw him coming down the road, they said, "Here comes the dreamer," little nickname for him. "Let's throw him into a cistern and say the wild animals killed him. We will see what comes of his dreams." Reuben, the oldest, he had a thought. He said, "Let's not take his life." He said, "Let's just throw him into a cistern." And Reuben was thinking, later on, I'll pull him out, so I'll save his life. Well, Joseph came. They ripped his special coat off of him, and they threw him into that cistern, a spot where they would collect rainwater. Since it was kind of a dry area, they needed to do that. And then the guys, all the brothers, just began eating, just ignoring Joseph. And all of a sudden, this group of Midianite travelers, these traders, came through. And Judah, who actually would later be the ancestor of Jesus, had a terrible idea. He said, "What will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites." And that's what they did. They took Joseph and sold him to the Ishmaelites, and in return, they got 20 pieces of silver. Well, Joseph was gone now. He was out of the cistern. Reuben, who didn't know what had happened, came to pull him out, and he was gone. "Where's Joseph?" He said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?" He knew that his father would be heartbroken. And so they took Joseph's robe, and they took an animal's blood, and they just coated it with blood, and they brought it back to their father. They said, "We found this. Examine it to see whether it's your son's robe." And Jacob was so sad. He said, "It is my son's robe. Some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces. I will continue to mourn till I join him in the grave." And then Joseph was taken by those Ishmaelites, and he was sold as a slave to the household of Potiphar in Egypt. Now, this whole time, God was with Joseph, and he was turning this family mess into the future as he would deliver his people and continue that family so they could be ready for Jesus to be born. God was working through all this terrible, difficult struggle time because he loved Joseph, and he loved his brothers, and he loved all of his people. This is the story of Joseph sold into slavery.